13, 14, and 15. They're all really similar. So we're going to do all these together. Okay, I'm not going to show you how to do them on the calculator. The last video clip for 11 and 12. If you need to know where the calculator buttons are, where the functions are, watch that video clip. At the end, I show you the calculator functions. And so that will tell you how to find all of them. So I'm just going to write on here how to do them. Okay, number 13. So I'm trying to figure out what 3 types it is. The first sentence tells me right here, they're giving me a probability, so I know it's not Poisson. They didn't give me an average. Now I've got to read the question. Okay, so it's about lottery tickets. If you decide to keep buying scratchers until you win, and then you're going to stop, what's the probability you end up buying at least 7 before you get a winner? So this is a sneaky way of asking you, what's the probability the first winning ticket you get ends up being, you have to buy at least 7 before you get a winning ticket, your first winning ticket. If you got your first winning ticket before, you would have stopped. Okay, so this is a geometric. It's not, the other reason that you know it's not binomial is it's not saying, okay, if you buy 7 tickets, what's the probability that 3 of them are winners or 4 of them? It's not about how many winners, it's about when that first one occurs. So that's geometric. When is the first one? Now, here's a phrase, okay? So we have this phrase right here, at least 7. Don't do anything else. Well, first of all, we can write down CDF because we know we're going to want more than one number, so it's CDF. Here's what I've got to convince you to do. Don't try to put anything in the calculator. Write down what at least 7 means. At least 7 means 7 is the least. So that's the numbers, and it includes 7. That's the numbers 7, 8, 9, or all the way up. That's what the phrase at least 7 means. Now, we talked over and over in class about how you can't start at 7 and go up. Your calculator only starts at 0. This is where I asked you to draw that little barricade. Okay, I want these numbers right here, but your calculator can't do them. You're going to have your calculator do the complement. That's the numbers from 0 to 6. 6 is the number before 7. So that's the last number in our little group there. Do this exercise. Do that exercise right there, okay? It won't take you very long, but it will guarantee that you're not going to make a slip up or a silly error about putting the wrong number in. Okay, so now what I know I'm going to do is, that means 6 is the last number that I'm going to have my calculator do. So 6 is what I'm going to put in my calculator display. All right, so I'm going to write it down below where I have room. So I know it's Geomet CDF. Geomet only needs 2 things. It needs, I got to erase that because I can't even read what that percentage is. So it wants, what's the percent? So the percent is 21%. Put it as a decimal, put a comma. And then the last number you're going to have your calculator do is 6, not 7. 6 is the last number. You're going to do that in your calculator, and when you do, you get 0.757. That's not your answer, because 757, that's the probability that it's 0 through 6. Remember, you want the complement of that. You want all the other numbers. So you have to take the complement. 1 minus 757 equals 0.243, and that's your final answer. That's the answer to 13, 243. Again, you want the numbers 7, 8, 9. Your calculator can't do that. So you have your calculator do all the other numbers. That's the numbers from 0 to 6, which is why 6 goes right there. And then you take the complement. Not bad. Okay, so that's problem 13. I'm going to erase all that. So the answer was 243. By the way, I have all these answers on Blackboard. So if you need those, you can get them. Now we're going to do number 14. 14 says the probability that you find a woman between those ages who's never been married, probability is 40%. So I know that this is not a Poisson because they didn't give me the average. They gave me a probability. And so now I'm going to see, are they asking me about when the first unmarried lady shows up? No. They're asking me what's the probability that 2 or fewer were never married. That's binomial. 2 or fewer. That's the numbers. Now, obviously it includes 2 because they said 2. Or fewer. Fewer means less than. So that's the numbers 0, 1, and 2. All right. You don't need to draw that goofy barricade thing because 0 is the last number available. There are no other numbers out here. So you already have the number 0 to do. This is what your calculator can do. It can start at 0 and add numbers until it gets to the end. Now there's actually 3 numbers here. That's more than one, so it's CDF. Binomial wants 3 numbers. You have to find the survey. Don't be a number grabby. Here's a number and there's a number, 25, 29. Those 2 numbers have nothing to do with the problem. They're just describing the girls. Here's N, 10 women. So that's your first number. Put a comma. Probability, 40%. That's 0.40 or just 0.4. That's the second one. And then the last number in the list right here is 2. So that's what you put right there. You put 2. Binom CDF 10, 0.4, 2. And then you hit equal and you will get 0.167 when you round to 3 decimal places. So number 14 is 0.167. Now I'm going to do number 15. 15, here's my first sentence. Sales firm receives an average of 4 calls. Automatically, they're giving me an average. I know I have a Poisson. So I'm going to write that down. Now I've got to find out if it's PDF or CDF. So read the statement. Find the probability that it will receive more than 5. Well, more than 5. I got to write what that means. More than 5 does not include 5. It's more than 5. So that's the number 6, 7, 8, and on up. Okay? Your calculator can only start at 0. It can't start at 6. This is when you draw that barricade thing I always talked about in class. I got to erase this over. Okay, you're going to have your calculator do all the other numbers. So the number before 6 is 5. So that means I'm going to have my calculator do the numbers from 0 to 5. So this is Poisson. It's a CDF because I'm doing all those numbers. That's more than one number. So it's CDF. Poisson just needs 2 numbers. The first number you give it is the average. So this says average of 4. So 4 goes right there. And then the last number in my group that I'm going to have my calculator do, that goes right there. 4, 5. Do that on your calculator, and that gives you 785. 0.785. I don't want 785. And the reason I don't want that is because that's the probability from 0 to 5. I want the complement of that, which is always 1 minus whatever you got on the other side. So I've got to do 1 minus 785, and that gives me 0.215. That's my final answer.